Throughout the stories that we have listened to, I've realized a strong elaboration on the message of listening to yourself and not allowing any outside influences or even inside voices to make decisions for you. This is especially prominent in the story Psyche and Eros. Her beloved had always advised her that her sisters were not there to help her. Her sister advised her to kill her husband after discovering that he was from royalty. In the end, she listens to her sisters and not her own conscience, which ruins the relationship and trust that her husband ever had with her. Towards the end of the story, she also makes another decision that involves two voices. One voice is telling her to jump to her death, while the other tells her to be careful and take the successful way out. Fortunately, she is now able to listen to herself and not let any outside influences steer her in the wrong direction. Out of the story came the question, how does trusting yourself play a role in peace and justice that establishes success in the end? I can apply this on an individual level because there have been several decisions in my life in which I have voices in my head telling me to take opposite routes, like in terms of studying for a test. In this picture, it shows that although it is difficult to ignore that one is steering you wrong, it is vital to listen to yourself to achieve success in the end, like Psyche. In the story, Buried Treasure, the main character's decisions directly correlate with listening to yourself. Although his wife was advising him to get up and stop his friend, he listened to himself and his plan, or sutra, which gave him happiness and fortune in the end. There are many examples on a local level. For example, although the president gets outside opinions and influences when making decisions, in the end, he must listen to his own voice. He was given this job because people believed in him, not how well he could listen to others. In the story beginning, this theme is exemplified by the little coot bringing back up the little mud ball. He listened to his voice in his head that told him to present this item to Maheo, even though the creatures behind him were telling it was stupid and useless. In the end, Maheo found this item beautiful and full of worth. The way this story portrays the theme shows Boyd's idea that it is important to make your images artistic, whether they are visual images or mental images. He says that art develops in us habits of imaginative exploration so that we take the world as not closed and given, but open to be shaped on our own terms. The story and visual allow the audience to use their creativity and imagination. Additionally, in this story, the little coot shows the archetype of hidden power because this little animal has so much potential that no one realizes. In my personal life, I have also used my sutra to allow me to succeed. Like the characters, I have listened to my own personal voice instead of others to achieve this greatness. My sutra, told by my beloved, had been my willingness to know that I'm actually very lucky to have the opportunities and people I do in my life, even though at times a more depressing voice tells me that I am not. The idea of listening to yourself for success comes into play in Gawain and Ragnell, as well as he listens to his instincts to marry Gawain despite her ugly appearance and ends up having a beautiful wife in the end. This can be applied on the universal level by how if people do things by listening to their greater internal self, they will receive immense success and rewards in the end, just like Betty Williams, who received a Nobel Peace Prize in 1976. She was able to utilize this, and everyone can too. An important component of life is to make sure to listen to your own voice because outside influences will not allow you to reach the success your beloved has in store for you. Each story relates to the big question because without listening to yourselves, they would have a roadblock and never achieve their desired goal or success. All images were made by Lexi Vinnick, produced on Adobe Premiere Pro.